Today is June 15th, Wednesday of 2023. I was trying to think. Oh, no, Thursday. See, I was confused what day of the week it is. It's Thursday. We usually do our crypto reviews on Thursday.
You do.
And this has been a crazy Thursday morning for cryptos, hasn't it, MooAnt?
It's been pretty crazy. Yeah, lots of movement over the last couple of days. It's actually been a very, very busy week. I'll go into some detail about some other things. It's been a pretty crazy week. The Hinman documents were released. To me, and I know people are going to get upset when I say this, but to me, I didn't find that there was really anything in there that I didn't already know. The communication between some of the SEC members commenting, I thought were interesting. But a lot of that information was already known. And then, there were some issues. The Fed decided to skip. We predicted that they would skip for this month over the psychic nerds. And so we finally got our skip. I think people probably misinterpreted what that would mean. There's lots of regulation going on right now. The House is almost having daily meetings around crypto and pulling in, blockchain executives, technologists, trying to get a handle on some of this stuff. I'm glad they're becoming educated. So there's a lot of movement. There's prosecution happening and legal issues with Coinbase and Binance. And it looks like Tether's under attack today inside one of the curve pools. So there's just a lot going on. So we can really start anywhere. I also kind of want to mention that I've been very, very busy. One of the things I do is consulting. And one of the things that I've been very, very busy with from Friday to Monday was helping some individuals that were on Verizon that got SIM swapped. So they were having several issues and their accounts were attacked or attempted to be infiltrated, and their crypto accounts were hit. So there was a SIM swap, first of all. Second of all, access to primary emails were commandeered. Passwords were changed, and then they started going through and trying hitting crypto accounts and bank accounts. So the commonalities between these are it looks like an organized event to me, obviously, because I haven't had one person reach out to me, and even in the larger communities that I run around with that pay attention to these sorts of things. So it looks like all these customers were on Verizon. So if that's you, I hope you weren't affected, and I hope you sit down and think about your security and how you got things set up, and maybe put some safeguards in there. And I'm over on the Psychic Nerds. I'm trying to put some just general information about getting people to think about their security a little bit more and some safeguards. But yeah, busy week, Sam. How about you?
Well, it's certainly great to have you on board here, not only running the Psychic Nerds, but also doing the weekly crypto review with me, because the background that you have is very important in this industry that we're examining, that I'm getting all this psychic information about and have for years. And what's important as well is you can share with us what you're finding out in real time as to how people are getting into these accounts. You said Verizon was hacked.
Yeah.
A while ago, I finally was able to get an American phone number. That was not something I was able to do before as a Canadian. But it was finally made available to me. And of course, I went with a Texas area code, picking the future, right?
Sure.
And it's Afani, an Afani phone. I'll go into the promo channel and I'll put, they have a little link thing there. And what they do is they guarantee, or they have insurance. It's a few $1 million worth of insurance in the event that my phone is SIM swapped. You can choose between, I think, Verizon and AT&T. And so I chose AT&T to go with them. And I feel a little bit more secure. Not that I keep crypto on my phone, but in the future, just like how you keep your bank card in your pocket, I expect that I will download a wallet that I would use in real time. That's, it's just a matter of time. I mean, 6 months, a year from now, that could be happening. And I said, this is going to be like my forever phone number, this US number, no matter where I am. So I'm going to make sure I get a phone that they have already, secured against SIM swaps, and they guarantee against it. And the money that you pay includes the insurance. And I pay less than $1,000 a year for this Afani phone. I think that we're learning a lot of lessons here. And I think a lot of us are protected in ways that other people aren't, just because we've been in the space and working together for quite a few years.
I think you're right about that. It's one of the things that we've tried to impress upon people they should find a group. They should find a group where they can learn and teach and share, where they can grow. If they're used to being a student, maybe they should try and be a teacher sometimes. If they're always used to being a teacher, maybe they should try and be a student sometimes. I think that's really good. And, we're interested in woo topics, and we're interested in cryptos, and there's probably other groups out there that are interested in permaculture or farming. Find a group, whatever. Find a group that you feel supported in, that you feel like you can contribute to, that you can learn from. I think people should be doing that right now. I think it's really important for a lot of reasons. I think powers like to keep people separated, and this is a way that people can build connections, real connections, and share information and stay nimble and get smarter, right? So, yeah. Let's take a look. Do you want me to go into this curve issue? I don't know if anybody's interested in this.
I hadn't heard of that. I'm a lot of people are worried about Tether, and I had a blab on Tether as well before, but I think it's part of the everything all at once.
Let me show this. It looks like Tether's losing a little bit of its peg. It's normal for these things to lose a little bit of their peg, but it looks like a lot of activities going through Curve. So Curve has multiple liquidity pools, and one of these pools is Pool 3, and it's comprised of DAI, USDC, and USDT. I can go to some charts here. You'll see that the pairings here, the weights are usually stay pretty solid, pretty equal weighted, and if there is some FUD out there, or there is some concern, like real concern, that maybe Tether will be shut off at certain exchanges, especially the Asian exchanges, as they are now beginning to kind of assert their power, and Binance is under investigation. So, but this is obvious. I've never seen it like this. These are usually pretty equal weighted. So what people are doing is they're obviously coming in here and dumping or exchanging their USDT for either USDC or the DAI. And then probably taking the DAI USDC and either liquidating it or putting it to work in other mechanisms. And there's lots of ways to do that, but I won't get into any of that. But this is very out of the norm. We have seen this before, Tether FUD, especially when the market's real low. People being afraid, but there has been quite a bit of activity here within this pool. So I don't know what that means. Like I said, people could have a heads up that maybe there's some regulatory clamps coming to Tether. And think about it. If you were an organization or a business or even an individual that had that information early, you'd probably want to start getting out of Tether. So I guess what I would ask you, Sam, is any issues? Do you kind of see any issues around this Tether? It's obviously happening. It's happening right before our eyes. The peg is not really lost, but there is a lot of unusual large volume activity. Just any thoughts around this?
Yeah. So we know that Tether was made out of thin air, right? We know that, or do they just suspect that?
They've submitted several spec sheets about what they hold now, real estate and treasuries and all sorts of things. I don't know if it's truly ever had a substantial audit, like a real audit by one of the big three auditing firms around the world. But yeah.
Oh, well,
it's used a lot. It's used a lot in the Asian regions. So the Asiatic countries, exchanges, even some of the, I won't say that. But anyway, around that area of the world, let's just say that.
Tether, I was asked about Tether quite a few times, and actually we can go through the blab for that, but I'm trying to recall. I did say that the problems that we would have with Tether, that it would happen, but that the market would be so large by the time it's sort of found out that it wouldn't have as big an effect. And this was back when our market was maybe 300 billion. People were asking me about Tether. And I just said, and they were like, it would destroy them. I'm like, well, yeah, it would now. But by the time it gets taken out down, like it is going to have problems down the road, but the market's going to be so much bigger that, and there's going to be other stable coins. So that I felt like it would be manageable at that point.
Okay, good. And then just a couple kind of interesting, maybe catch people up on a few things, but we talked a lot about doom and gloom, I guess, so far. I'm only in strength right now. I'm only in the best crypto. I see no reason to be out in Pluto land or gambling whatsoever. So I am in what I feel is extreme strength. I did buy yesterday. I bought ETH on the dip. And let me show some things that I also think are some kind of good news. So if you're caught up in this Celsius debacle, basically it looks like by June 1st, sorry, I just lost my, Yeah, it looks like so anything, it says Celsius will be selling all altcoins from all customers except custody and withhold accounts because these people have already started to receive their one for one coins, right? A lot of people have already gotten their stuff back that were in these two programs, but loan and earn and preferred equity, basically everything is going to be sold into Bitcoin and Ethereum. So when things kind of shake down and people do start getting things back, they will be getting Bitcoin and Ethereum. So I thought that was good. And then, yeah, I saw a couple other things that I thought were kind of interesting or good news. There's been a lot of FUD, I think, around cryptos, and I think the best cryptos are just going to get stronger. So, I thought this one was good. Top South Korean bank gears up for a 27 billion security token market. So they're building a security token market. I think this is really interesting. We saw Bank of China unit issues digital securities on Ethereum, blockchain in Hong Kong amid cities virtual asset push. So Ethereum is being used to lots of places around the world. And, we see this every couple of weeks, right? We'll see a bond to put on this thing or that thing. So, I think the United States eventually gets their nonsense sorted out, but the rest of the world is not waiting. They're moving ahead. So that's the only thing I would say. Anything around that before we get into the questions?
Well, it's something that we talked about a couple of years ago. Again, lots of questions about that. And it was predicted that the Americans would not be on board and that the rest of the world would get ahead. And then there would be the aha moment that it's sort of like when your kid is having a temper tantrum and you're walking away from them. And
Right.
you know that we all remember that.
Sure.
when you're like, it's like a 2 or 3 year old and you're just like, okay, well, I'm leaving the store. You're not getting that. And I'm leaving the store. I'm not leaving. And then you start walking away from them and you can start to see they're getting nervous because it's like one of my dogs, actually both of my dogs, Bronx and Tank, if I'm around, they don't let me get out of eyesight. If they can't see me, they come to where I am. Like they have to have me in their eyesight. Well, it's like little children. That's why I compare my dogs to the like young preschoolers because they have the same mindset. So that's how I kind of feel like it is with the cryptos where, Britain is setting up. Oh man, they are moving quickly too. I mean, Dubai and the United Arab Emirates, they have not let this pass them. They are jumping on this. Unfortunately, because Canada does not have the opposition in a leadership position right now, they're going to miss out because that guy, Pierre Poilievre, he's a French guy but he's pure Canadian. And I think that he has the best interests of Canadians at heart. He has a lot of common sense and he's not willing to throw away the future of Canada for a small group of elite people who think that they run things. They think that they run things. Over the next year, you're not going to believe like the changes that are going to happen, not only in cryptos, but in society. And it's just going to be the exposure of what's going on. So, but I mean, our focus today is cryptos. So let's get into the questions.
Let's do it. Got 157 registered. Got a whole bunch of questions here. Let's go ahead and take a look. This first one here, let me just hit this button. It likes to hang up on me. So there we go. So then I'll hit done answering and I'll just read it here. This is from Tim. It says, hey, Sam, do you think after the SEC loses its court case, will we see a sharp hockey stick move up for XRP?
Yeah, I feel like that is why I saw a hockey stick move up. It would be something like that. And I said it was the bull flag for the entire market. So because we've seen a lot of cryptos do hockey stick moves, either from just basically, rumors that are spread. Oh, Google's going to adopt it, or Microsoft or Amazon. We've heard stories like that. And then all of a sudden the coin is worth 10 times and it's not true. But I saw a hockey stick move with XRP and I said it was the bull flag. And then when the SEC did what they did, I was like, aha, bingo. Now I see why it's going to be the bull flag. And that's why I knew that's why I would be shocked if XRP lost, lost. I did say that they would settle, that they would pay a fine. So they will get them for something. So if anybody's saying, oh, you were wrong, Sam, you said it. No, what I said was that they would pay a fine and then it would be over with. There would be this big hockey stick movement because now there would be regulation a lot of regulation is done based on past cases. And that's Absolutely. What I did when I was putting together policies for the business that I was in that was brand new. I was looking at past cases and situations of similar industries in order to make a decision as to what I was going to put out there. And then, of course, a lot of this policy was taken on by the Dealers Association, which was eventually created. So I feel like once we, as crypto people who are involved in exchanges, who are involved with different cryptocurrency companies, you just need a few old school compliance people who, like me, who have a background like I do, who can go in and say, let's put together our proposal, and let's form a union, an association, and let's go to the Securities and Exchange Commission. And I mean, I swear to God, I don't know why these people haven't done this before. Like, what is wrong with all these people? People are like, and then people are like, oh, and security, they should regulate. Okay, that's not how it works. You form an association and then you present, right? And then they look at, because I don't know a lot of stuff about, let's say, in particular, what you do, MooAnt, but I can still ask you questions, right? And you, oh, well, have you thought about if you do this, what you're going to do about that, right? And then you tell me, oh, well, yes, and we have right here in our what we do. You know what I mean? It's like they can do it if they already have the basics in front of them. And I feel like I don't know why that's not being done. I almost want to go to them and do it myself. Letters, I go to Coinbase. Listen, if I wrote them and I said, that my name is so-and-so and I was at 32 years, 27, a branch manager, and created policy for an entirely new industry, and I can see you guys have a little bit of trouble here. You need some help. So I'll tell you, that's what I'm ready to do now, because things need to move a little bit quicker. And until that happens, we're going to continue to flounder with the Securities and Exchange Commission. So I'm more interested in saving the American crypto business by getting the regulation going. Because as soon as they do that, like as soon as Coinbase and Kraken and like at least all of the US exchanges form a dealership, and then or an association, and then all the exchanges form an association in Canada, and then maybe in Mexico, and then they have like the NAFTA association for cryptos. Do you see what I mean?
I do.
And now you represent a significant number of people who have an interest and a very mature situation, shall I say. And all of these people who are elected are thinking, well, we need to do a good job because, all eyes are on us. And now they're going to find out if we can bring it or not as people who work in the government, who have to make sure this regulation is set. Because until that happens, people are not going to be able to move ahead.
Yeah. This next one's from Limit Break. And it is, hi, Sam, I know you mentioned timelines are not your thing, but we believe you are getting better at this, and we're rooting for you on this one. Exclamation point. What year do you think the last batch of Sam Jammers, me probably included, cash in on their final profits and feel the full weight of their crypto wealth? Because most of us will be taking profits this next run, but will still be staying for the next rise to 100 trillion. I know some OGs here will be achieving rockstar status this year or next, happily cheering for us all. From Limit Break.
Yeah. So the number I got while you were saying that, and you're right, I am starting to get better on the timelines just from, the tripping and falling it flat on my face so many times before. After a while, your nose starts to get sore and you're like, oh, I better pay a little bit more attention. So yeah, I agree. It's getting a little bit better. 2028 is what came up in mind. You want to know like who are the last of the Sam Jammers that are getting the majority of, but yeah, 2028. So it's 2023 now. So yeah, that's fine. Like 5 years. And I mean, that would probably be the last year that the stuff that I kept at where I kept 5% of my pool of money, or let's say I sold all of my Doge, but kept 5% of it. 2028, that is the example of like, that would be the last year that I would be finally, I can't stand it anymore. I got to take the $3 million out of the 5%. You know what I mean?
Sure. This next one's from Solar Dragon here. Let me just hit the button. It says, hi, Sam and Moo. There's a lot of FUD circulating in the crypto market, especially surrounding Solana and Matic. Coinbase has also paused trading for them. So that's not true. You can still buy those over at Coinbase. That's the whole reason they're going to court. Brian made it clear that he's not going to delist them, and they can sort it out in the courtroom. But anyway, that's just kind of an update. But anyway, the next one is Binance is in trouble, and the SEC claims Matic is a security. I still love both projects. What are your thoughts? Will Asian markets inject more consumer capital this year and next? Thank you. Much love.
Well, Asia is going through a slowdown, a financial slowdown. They are a mess. And mainly the financial injection that's going to come is going to be from people fleeing jurisdictions with their money, like trying to get it out. So crypto will, have its purpose. I think that some governments will realize that, crypto's like water. You can't stop it. It just changes shape. It just moves, and, you can't stop it. It's, no, you can't stop it. And then, I like how when Nigeria tried to outlaw Bitcoin and people went crazy, they started burning stuff down. People are like rampaging in the streets. Now that's not going to happen in the United States, but all you have to do is have a few powerful people seeing their customers slipping away, going through the United Kingdom to get access to a crypto fund. And they're moving like their $20 billion out of their hedge fund. And that person is going to be absolutely, we're all very calm and everything like that. This guy's on the phone, like threatening to like murder grandchildren and stuff if they don't move their ass. Like, I am crazy. This person is crazy. I'm listening to him. I'm like, really? You're going to talk to people like that? And they're, well, you must be some powerful guy if you could start threatening, lives and stuff like that, and it'll make people move it. Because I guess this guy's flipping out that he has lost like $20 million in clients because people are not doing their job on the other end. There's a lot of stuff going on that we don't know about with these people, and boy, they love their money. I'll tell you right now, it's never enough. Never enough.
We've seen numerous times where the United States was not the leader in crypto. It was South Korea, or it was a different area or region. I think there is a lot of money flooding here. There are a lot of VC monies going into places outside the United States. It's obvious. There's lots of investments. There's registrations of all sorts. There's legal clarity of all sorts. The Hong Kong Monetary Authority made it clear to their banks that they must offer services to crypto exchanges and crypto companies, networks, and businesses. So this is good. So it just is what it is. This next one here is from Bill D. And it says, hi guys, I'd like to ask you both the question. During the next run, you can only have 3 of these 6 coins. Which 3 would you choose? ETH, Matic, Link, Doge, XRP, Bitcoin.
Oh, why would you put Doge in there? Because I got to pick the Doge, but my second choice would be Matic. I know normally it would be Ethereum, but I'm greedier than you are. Boo. And I like the return, man. I like the return. I like what I see with Matic. I can't help it. I'm going to do it. I'm buying today. I can't help it. I don't.
Okay, good. Good. Mine would be the same that they probably always are: Bitcoin, ETH, and then it would be very hard for me to choose between Matic and Link because I like them both. They're both super useful. But I just, as I saw that question about you couldn't buy Matic on Coinbase, while we were talking, I just went out and bought some. So there you go. Bitcoin, ETH, and Matic. Next question here. This is from Bravo. Sam, any feelings on the next major date for crypto?
Okay, so for next month, we're going to pick July 18th. And then we're going to examine all of those things that happened on June 14th to see what the crypto thing was for the 14th. I had kind of in my mind something that happened on the 14th that was it Congress submitting to fire or to get rid of Gary Gensler from the SEC? Did they submit that on the 14th? I think they did yesterday. It submitted yesterday. Anyways, so if you guys have any ideas as to what the crypto thing was on the 14th, we were hoping it was the announcement of the XRP settlement. So the next date is July the 18th.
Okay, thanks, Sam. This is from Pizza. Yep. Let me read it again. Here comes summer! Exclamation point. Would you rather? So remember, Pizza likes to do this would you
Would
rather
you
game.
rather?
Doge or Super? Thank you both.
Okay, I haven't looked into Super to see what was going on with them lately. So I'm going to say Doge because the summer of Doge, and summer is going to be here in another week.
Yeah, coming right up on us. Yep. Scott with 1T's got one here. Give me 1 second. Just going to hit the button. When the SEC loses its case to Ripple, will they appeal it to the Supreme Court of the United States, and will this cause further delays?
Well, I think if they lost, they would. But based on my blab, I saw an out of court settlement with Coinbase or with
Ripple
XRP. Yeah, XRP just paying a fine and moving on. So it didn't actually make it to court. That was my prediction. I mean, timelines be damned. Usually I get the story right.
Okay. I'm Richie's got one here. Just give me 1 sec. Richie's question is, Sam and Moo, many of our Q Labs have been delisted at many places. When do you see this attack on Q Labs ending by the Securities and Exchange Commission? And will our Q Labs see their all-time high again this year?
I do think they'll see their all-time high. And it's not so much going to come from the SEC, but it'll come from the other parts of the world and the demand for cryptos there. I'm just trying to think how long it's going to take for the Americans to wake up and come along. I would say by this summer. It's going to become clear because I like that Coinbase has threatened to leave the United States. And I think that they should actually start packing their shit up and leaving. I think they should. I think that that's really going to be the aha moment, and the politicians and everybody just because even Americans are saying, we don't have to do business with you. We can set up our wallets. We can do business offshore. We can use VPNs. You can't stop us. And even if you become like China, you still can't stop us. And also the American people have a very different mindset than people from the other parts of the world. And just like I felt like, in Germany, I'm just going to the Europe now. Europe is really going to have a go of it this year. And it's going to scare a lot of politicians what they see people do. Because you have to remember that, when you have large groups of people and you're messing with the economy, and that includes cryptocurrencies as well, it just gets to the point that the population just gets fed up because you got two groups of people. You got corrupt people, and then you got stupid people who they just really don't know what they're doing. But the outcome and the end result and the level of pain is still the same. And so I would caution anybody if you're going to Europe this summer, and if you're not, and I don't want people who live in Europe to get overly concerned about this. I want to explain to you it's very different when you're traveling in a place versus where you live there, right? The worst thing that can happen to you, if let's say, for example, there's an earthquake or something like that, and you don't live in the place, right? You don't have any friends, you don't have a home, you are just a visitor to that place. And there's no food, there's no water, and nobody has anything, and nobody knows you. And you just don't want to be caught in those places without a friend, to help you out. So I don't know where that came from, but we'll get back to the crypto questions because I'm not going to Europe this summer and I don't plan to. So I'm just going to watch from a distance.
Rahul's got one here. Just give me 1 sec. And it says, hey, Sam, which one do you like more, Solana or Near Protocol? Also, what price predictions do you have for these two in this bull cycle, 3 trillion and at 8 trillion? Thanks.
Okay, so at 3, I think Solana will be back at its all-time high again, maybe higher. What was its all-time high, like 250 or something?
260 something, yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I didn't even hear Solana when it went to like $360, but I mean, I got a whole bunch of it for $40 and under. And actually, that's another one I'm looking at buying is Solana. I like Near and stuff. It's just that it's got a longer timeline on it. So when you see sort of the more developed technologies like Ethereum, for example, if my beach house was selling like this week and I had to figure out where to put all of that money before I find a place, I would actually, at Ethereum at 1600, I would just put it all in Ethereum. I wouldn't buy any other one because you don't know if it's going to go further down, how much, the percentage. I look at Ethereum as a more secured store of wealth. And especially if I'm doing like a shorter term, I know that we'll see $1,800 to $2,000 Ethereum, short width again, right? So even if I put it in, it was 1,650 and it went down to 1,580, I knew it would, I would feel comfortable. It would be like 1,700 again shortly. So that's how I feel about some of the different cryptos now. And when you're getting when you're getting out into Pluto land, the last few months, a lot of people have been talking to me about a lot of these Pluto land coins. And I'm just saying, hey man, like the ones that are the tried and true, like, I understand when, Polygon was like $1 or $1, like when it was like $1.80 and you're looking and you're scratching, or Doge was, 5 cents, and now you're scratching around for another micro coin because you're like, well, I can't buy Doge anymore because it's 5 cents. But do you have another coin that is maybe a portion of a penny that you can look at, that kind of thing? But now the best time is to get like the Solana, the Ethereum, the Polygon, the Chainlink, these ones. Those are the ones that you're going to see the more significant moves in the coming months, because remember that even though the Americans are screwing up, the British are going to have like a whole slew of come hither crypto funds out of Britain. And I mean, time to get your LLP set up in Britain as soon as you get your residency in Mexico, because they don't care about offshore income when you're a resident of Mexico. Just a heads up there that I found out. I was like, woohoo, I guess I do love Mexico.